movements or poses or stretches that we do on the chair. The chair is here to act as more of a support as opposed to sitting in the chair throughout the whole process. But if you want to sit in the chair, you certainly can. The choice is really yours. But we wanted to show some options so that depending on where you are, you might not be able to come to the floor, but you may be able to sit in a chair. If you are in a chair, make sure that it's not a chair with wheels that will roll around. If you have a chair without arms, that's great. If it does have arms, that's okay. Just be very careful that you don't bang into the arms of some of the movements. Okay, let's begin. Find a comfortable spot for yourself. You can be standing on the floor. You can be standing on your mat. Anne is barefoot. I have my runners on. So depending on how you feel. If you're in sock feet, just make sure you don't slide on the floor because that could be uncomfortable. Bring your feet about hip distance. Take your hands down at your side. And feel the nice strength in your legs, your feet on the floor. Now from here, some of you may have been sitting all day, so I'd like you to think about the crown of your head coming to the ceiling. Take one hand and put it just underneath your belly or on your belly button, and then one hand right here to your chest. One of the things we want to make sure that we do throughout all of the movements that we do today is breathe. Holding your breath doesn't help that message to go to those muscles, to the joints, to the fascia that surrounds everything in your body, to allow it to relax and go to a stretching motion. So this type of activity is brain and muscle. It's brain and joint. It's brain and fascia. And you don't even have to think about it, so you're going to have a nice body workout and you're going to have a brain workout. Keeping your hands on your stomach and on your chest, take a nice deep breath in. Feel that breath come up through the front of your body. And then let that breath go either through your mouth and your nose or both. Breathe in again. Let that breath go. One more time. Take a nice deep breath in. Let that breath go. Really nice. Now that you feel like you're in a comfortable position, take your hands down to your side and roll your right shoulder. Roll your left shoulder. Roll your right shoulder. Roll your left shoulder. Really nice. And keep doing this to the back of your body. Rolling your shoulders nice and easy. There's no rush. Try one more on each side. Release your hands to the side. Now just bring your shoulders up to your ears and release. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and release. One more time. Up to your ears and release. This time with your right shoulder, instead of rolling back, roll forward. And roll forward. Roll forward. And roll forward. Roll forward. Roll forward. One more on each side here. Roll forward and roll forward. Same as we did before, bring those shoulders up and release them down. Bring the shoulders up and release them down. One more time. Shoulders up and release them down. Bring your hands up to your shoulders. And this time we're going to circle. So we're going to circle forward. Looks like we're going to take flight, but we're not. 2 more. And then just stay here and circle backwards. See how that feels. Sometimes one shoulder or one side of the body can feel different. So give it some loving care. Feel it through. And then allow your hands to relax. Take the palm of your hand and face it toward the front of your body. Both hands. Now, keep your hand the way it is and take the outside of your hand, of your right hand, and place it into your lower back. Press that hand into your lower back and you're going to feel your shoulder gently open up. Take the other hand back and press into your lower back. Keep your body nice and tall and feel those shoulders go back gently. That feels good sometimes. Release your hands, shake your fingers. Bring your hands back up. We're going to do that one more time. Take the hand back. Take the hand back. Press gently into your lower back and press those shoulders back. Bring your upper body forward. And gently release. Release your hands. Reach both arms up to the sky and bring them down. Reach both arms up to the sky and bring them down. Reach both arms up to the sky. Look up. Spread your fingers. Really feel that stretch on the side of your body right through your fingers. And bring the hands down. This time take your feet just a tiny little bit wider. You're creating a little more of a base. Reach your arms up to the sky. Fingertips, and then gently lean over to your right side. Now try not to push your hip out. Keep your body long. Just lean over. Doesn't matter how far. Come back to center. Lean over to the other side. Come back to center. Lean over. Come back to center. Lean over. Come back to center. One more on each side. Lean over. Come back to center. Lean over. Come back to center. Releasing your hands. So we're working on the upper body because that's an area that we forget about and we're constantly in this kind of a crunch position these days. This time, we're going to do a little bit of work just on the neck. Bringing your feet a little closer. If you're sitting in a chair like Anne is, sit closer to the edge of your chair with your feet flat on the floor and think about the same motion as we do standing, crown of your head to the ceiling, so that your spine is nice and long. Our spine is what gives us a lot of energy, and our spine is really important for sending those messages to the body. But we want to keep it nice and long. We want to keep it flexible so that by the end of class, all of those vertebrae that in your back are going to puff up like little marshmallows and really feel really good. So, on your right side, take the right arm, stretch it up to the sky. And then very gently, take that hand, just place it on your ear. Very gently, and then pressing gently, just pull the head to the side, looking forward. It doesn't matter how far. Let the opposite arm, your left arm, hang to the side. And when you find a spot where you feel that you're comfortable, stay here and remember to breathe. Gently release, bring the head back up, bring your arm down. Coming over to the other side. Now keep in mind again, one side of your body might feel different. And you're not forcing, it's just a gentle little press. And you're looking forward here. And then gently release. Looking forward without moving your head or your neck. Just look up with your eyes. Come back to center, look down. Come back to center. Look over to your right. I can't see your eyeball, so I can't tell. Come back to center. Look over to your left. I can see Anne over there now. And come back to center. Make sure your feet are comfortable. This time we're going to lift both arms up to the sky and bring our hands together. Palms together, and then gently just drop those hands behind your head and lift up. Drop the hands behind the head and lift up. Drop the hands behind your head and lift up. One more time. You're probably feeling this through your arms, back of the arm, and gently release down. From here, and Anne may come to the floor for some of these, we're going to do a little bit of standing stretches for the upper body and for the legs. So we've been keeping our stomach nice and tight. We're pushing that abdominal area right into our lower back so it gives us support. You're going to keep your right leg forward, and you're going to take the left foot back just a little bit, not too far. Now, if you find that you're wobbling, you can use a chair or you can use a wall. But the trick is to keep your feet a little wider, so that I call it railroad track legs. And you can even take the leg back depending on how comfortable you are. Bring your hands to your waist and bend that front knee. Well, what we're trying to do here is start to engage some of our hip flexors, a little bit of our quads, but we're trying to open the hip. The hip, along with the shoulder, is another area in the body that gets really tight. Pressing down. Hold this position. And then gently step forward. Come to the other side. You might find, again, with the legs, one side feels different than the other. Keeping your body tall. Try not to lean forward. Just try to get a little bend here. And come back. This time you're going to take your right leg, find your balance, and you're going to cross it over your left. And if you want to, you can stay here. You can take your hands to your shoulders, or you can lift your hands up over your head and lean over to that right side. So you keep one hand on the chair, or take both hands over, but lean a little bit to the side. So now we're coming a little bit to the outside of the leg and come back to center. Release your hands down, come back. You might want to move your legs around a little bit and come over to the other side. Reach your hands up, and this time lean right over to that left side. Try to keep yourself from driving your hip over, and only come over where it's comfortable. Coming back to center, release your hands to the side, bring your feet together. Take your feet a little wide. Bring your hands to the front for some balance. And lift the heel of your left foot. I can feel that in my calf already. Bring it down. Lift the heel. And bring it down. Lift the heel. And bring it down. Lift the heel. Release your hands. Now keep the right leg forward, bend that knee. Take the leg back like we did earlier, bending that front knee. Now you might lean a little bit forward just to give you some balance, but you're going to lift that back heel up and drop it down. Now take the leg back a little further if you want. Lift that heel up. Now keep that heel up there. And drop it down. Bring the foot in. Now, little change. Bend that back knee a little bit and pull the toe up of that front leg. And you can come forward or you can stand up tall, whatever feels good. Keep your hands on your thighs to give you support. And then drop that foot down. Come up to standing. Let's do that again. Pull that toe up. So now we're coming to the front of the leg. A little bit of stretch the back of the leg. And release it down. One more time on that same side. Lift up. Drop that foot down. Bring your feet together. We're coming over to the other side now. Taking the leg back. Where it's comfortable. And you're going to lift the heel to start. Hold it up here and drop it down. Lift the heel and drop it down. One more. Lift the heel and drop it down. Now you can bring that back foot in a little bit to give you some stability. Keep your feet apart so you have balance. Bending that back knee, lift that front toe. And you can lean over, but try to keep your body long as opposed to crunching up. And drop it down. This time the leg will straighten. Bring it up again. And drop it down. One more time now. Take it up. And drop it down. Step carefully to the front and just move your legs around a little bit to loosen them up. Now the next one, I'm going to come a little bit sideways. We're going to do a little bit of bending forward. Now this is where you might want to come to the back of a chair, the back of a table, the back of a counter. So my feet are about hip distance apart, or they can be a little wider if it feels good for you. Now take your hands up over your head. Really stretch them up. And then very slowly come forward, bring your hands to your thighs. You can bend your knees and you can keep your head forward. And if this is as far as you want to go, that's fine. If you want to go further, you can bring your hands to your ankles and start to drop your head down. And if you want to go further, you can bring your hands right down to the floor, drop your head. Now bend your knees just a tiny little bit so you keep your knees soft. We don't want to lock them. If you're getting dizzy, bring your hands back up to your thighs. Now to come up from this position, we're going to bring our hands to our shins, to our thighs, and then slowly come up to standing. Stretching the body way up again. This time, take your arms nice and wide, just like their wings. Stretch them up to the sky. Take your arms wide, just like their wings. And then bring your hands to your thighs and come forward. Come forward again, as far as your body wants you to go. And then bring your hands down. Let your head drop to the floor. And this way you're trying to bend forward. So you're thinking about maybe pulling your stomach into your lower back to give you that support. But you're also getting that nice stretch in the back of your legs. But the other bonus to this is that by dropping your head, you're actually kind of balancing your brain. Now very carefully bring your hands back up to your shins. Bring your hands to your thighs and lift yourself way up to the sky. Then take your hands nice and wide and put your hands on your waist. We're going to come down to the floor to do some floor work. And Anne might be doing some on the floor, or she may do some on the chair. And we're going to do a little bit of work from a position where I want to do a little bit of wrist work with you. And you might want to use some padding here. So you might want to have something like a towel or a cloth. And if you don't have that and you have a mat like I do, you can roll your mat up. We're going to come down onto our knees. So you can take the towel and place it underneath your knees. You can roll your mat. And we're going to come onto all fours. Now, if this doesn't give you enough support, you can roll up your mat and put it right underneath your hands. From this position, we're going to do just a little bit of work with our wrists. So the first part is you're going to spread your fingers. The crown of your head is nice and long, and you're feeling that your spine, you have your ears away from your shoulders, and your stomach is pulling into your back. The flats of your feet can be down, or if you really want to feel the stretch in the back of your toes, you can come up on your toes and press them back. But spread your fingers. Now from here, you might want to sit back a little bit or come up and roll your wrist a little bit. Come back down into that same position, but turn your fingers in toward each other. And then sit up, give your wrists a little circle. And this time, if it's comfortable for you, turn your hands to the outside. And then gently bring your hands inside. You can sit back, or if you like, you can sit forward. And Anne will be sitting in her chair. You can bring your legs forward. Now, taking your hands, just circle your wrists around. You can bend your knees if that's comfortable. Circle your wrists around both directions. Now, if you're doing a lot of keyboarding, bring your hands out forward. I want you to feel up the top of your arm and see how it feels. If you feel any pain anywhere, try it on both sides. So the muscles in our body, when one muscle is contracting, the other one is lengthening. So a lot of people will tend to do this to release their fingers doing circles from doing a lot of keyboarding. But what happens is this top part of your arm gets really tight. So the way to relieve it is take your right hand, lift it, palm up, and then just gently take your left hand and gently press against those fingers. And then release the hands down. This time take the left hand up, press the palm. Take your right hand and gently press against those fingers. And then release the hands down. Let the hands relax on your legs. Allow your legs to lengthen on the floor. And going back to the forward fold that we did, we're going to do similarly on the floor. But what we're going to do is bend our knees a little bit. Keep our body nice and tall. And we're going to look at our toes, lift our arms up, and come forward. Keep looking at your toes, and then take your hands, take them under your thighs, and allow your stomach to lay on your thighs. But keep the knees bent. That takes a lot of pressure off of your back. It allows all the supporting muscles to support your legs. And then look at your feet, release your hands, come back up to a seated position. From here, bend your knees and take your feet about mat width apart. Bring your hands alongside your body where it's comfortable. We don't want to be turning our wrists out, either wrists forward or wrists here. And if it's uncomfortable to be on your wrists, you can always come to your forearms. It's what feels best for you. There's no right or wrong to any of this. You're going to take your right knee and drop it over to your left side. And that knee's almost in line with the heel of that left foot. You're going to hold it here. This is just a gentle twist. Now with your head, either look forward or turn to look in the direction of your knee. Bring yourself back up and come over to the other side. Now again, you might find one side feels different than the other. So you can either look forward or look in the direction of your knee. Coming up, bring the knees together. Bring your hands underneath your knees. Now lift your body tall and then very gently roll back. Not all the way to the floor, just a little roll. Come forward. And it's okay to drop your chin a little bit, but you don't want to drive it into your chest. Breathe in, coming forward. Breathing out, rolling back. Or whatever direction your breath is going, but make sure that you're not gritting your teeth to do any of these movements. Come one more time. And come back. Bring your hands to the side. And this time we're coming right down to our back. On our back, our knees are bent, and you can have your knees together, arms to the side, whatever feels really good for you. A lot of people will have tightness in the hip area, in the buttocks area. So, keeping your left knee bent, take your right knee and bring it into your chest. Now you can put your hands on top of the knee, or you can put your hands underneath. But the goal is to gently angle that right knee toward your right shoulder. So just a gentle opening of the inner thigh. Now release that leg back to center and bring it down to the floor. Take your left leg up. Same thing, gently angle it toward your left shoulder. If you have your hands on top of your knee, be careful that you're not pressing so hard that you're squeezing the leg. And if you have your hands underneath your knee joint, be careful you're not pressing too hard. Remember, slow and gentle. And then bring that leg back to center, bring the knee to the floor. This time, bring both knees up together. You can hold here or you can hold here. And if you're having some problems, if it's uncomfortable for your lower back, you can take the towel and place it right underneath. That will give you a little bit of lift. It makes it a little more comfortable for you. Bring the knees up. And then we're just going to circle those knees. Maybe over toward the right shoulder. Sometimes that feels really nice on the back, but make sure you have some padding of some kind and you're not on a hard floor. Stop in center and go over to the other side. And come back to your center. Drop one foot to the floor, drop the other foot to the floor. And let's give your body a little break. Stretch those legs out. Stretch the arms up over your head. Interlace your fingers if you want and really point your toes. And then bring your knees back up again. Bring your right knee up. Keep your hands either on top of the knee or under the knee. And this time, take your left hand, you can keep it on your hip. And you're going to circle just that one hip in a circle. Just a nice gentle circle. Start going in one direction, to maybe toward the right and in. Bring it back to center and then go the other way. I'm always good going one way, but going the other way, sometimes I really have to think. So that's that brain and that muscle connection. And what you're finding with some of these movements is that you don't just sit there. You have to start to lubricate the joint in order to facilitate some movement, and then bring that leg back. Bring that leg down, and then just stretch that leg out on the floor. Press the heel out, pull the toe in. Bring it back up. Take the other leg up. It doesn't matter if you started left or right, as long as you're on another leg. And start to circle toward the shoulder. Couple more on this side. And then stop in center and go in the other direction. Just a couple more. And then bring that knee into your chest and straighten that leg out. Bring the knee back to center. So now we're just going to do a very gentle twist. And you would take your arms wide, or you can even bring them down by your side. We're going to take our knees over to the right side. You might want to take your hips a little bit to the left, and then allowing your head to look forward toward the ceiling, drop those knees over to the side. Now, there's no judgment about how far they go or which leg goes one way and which leg goes the other. Just allow yourself to twist. The key is to allow the freedom in your hips, but allow your shoulders to stay on the floor. And if your neck feels really good, you can turn to look over the other side. Remember to breathe here. There's no such thing as holding your breath. You can even close your eyes, only if your eyes want to close. We don't want to force that. And then very gently bring your knees back to center. Bring your hips straight on. And then we're going to take the knees over to the left side. You might want to take your hips a little bit to the right just to give you that movement. And then let those knees fall. Again, keep looking at the ceiling. You can even close your eyes, or if it's comfortable for your head, you can turn your head. But try to keep those shoulders nice and open. And then when you're ready, bring those knees back to center. Bring your spine nice and long. Give yourself a nice body stretch. Stretch your toes. And if you're in a chair, you can just stretch your legs out. Stretch your arms over your head. And come back. Now, rolling right over to your side. Come right around. Take your time. Again, if you have something to put your knees on, bring the tops of your feet to the floor, or you can curl your toes. Now with this one, this is lovely for the spine. And we're going to take our hands forward. We're going to press our hips back and bring our forehead to the floor, or if you have some kind of padding, if you have a mat or a cushion, you're going to put your forehead here. Now with your legs, your knees can be together or your knees can be wide. If it's painful to squeeze the knees, keep the hips up a little bit. This is one of those lovely stretches that feels really good. What you're trying to do is press your hips back and allow that spine to lengthen. This feels particularly good if you have any back issues. And then when you're ready, just walk your hands in. Bring yourself around. Take your time. Some of these poses can really relax you. Come around into seated. And the last pose we're going to do, you're going to come down onto your back. And just in case everything ends, I just want to tell you what a pleasure it's been to share this stretching, relaxation component with you. We're coming from the Dalplex, and this is our lovely Studio 2, so if you've never been over here, come and join us for a class. Now, knees are bent, your spine is nice and long on the floor, and if you have a cushion, you can put it underneath your lower back, or you can come to the floor like Anne is. We're going to bring our knees back to our chest, but if there's one thing you can do through the day, bring your hands under your legs or bring them underneath your hips, is straighten those legs up to the sky. And you can even hang your legs over a chair, or a lovely way to do this is against a wall. And put some cushions under your back. Right now, if you don't have a cushion, put your hands underneath. Now, when you get your legs up there, allow your shoulders to open up so you almost feel those shoulder blades on the floor giving you that support. And then you're going to find a point where your legs feel weightless. What happens here is all the blood runs from your legs all the way down through your body. It relaxes the heart. So not only is this a lovely stretch, relaxation pose, it de-stresses, allows the heart to slow down. If there's any swelling in the extremities, it helps to take the swelling away. And you can stay here for a minute, you can stay here for 5 minutes, you can stay here for 20 minutes. Doesn't matter. It just feels wonderful. So while you're in this position, you can stay as long as you want. Thank you so much for joining us and for having us into your space. And hopefully we'll hear from you, or maybe we'll see you over here at the Dalplex. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Anne.